Good morning. Happy Monday. What's up? How are y'all? How was the weekend? Hope you're off to a good start to the week. What do we got? About 11:35 local Eastern Standard Time here in Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome aboard. Good to have you. We got some work to do today. We got 20 orders for 22 total units going out the door on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. So welcome in. Welcome in. We are live this morning on Instagram and YouTube. We are not live today on Facebook. I'm having trouble walking into that account the last couple of days. So if you haven't seen any fresh content going out, that is a big reason why, is because I can't get into that Facebook account right now. So I'm waiting to hear back from customer support from Facebook, which has always been an adventure in my experience, hearing back from Facebook. So welcome in. Good to have you. We're excited to spend a little bit of time with you this morning. Hopefully you learned something new today. Or it's just a safe space to talk about what's going on with your reselling business. Ask questions. I want to hear about it. Boy, this week we're celebrating 7 years since I opened up this business as a side hustle in downtown Denver in a 1-bedroom apartment back in 2018. So pretty cool. Good weekend of sales, and really specifically a good day yesterday. So excited about that. Yesterday was my best day of sales for July. July's a slow month, especially early July around 4th of July when people are vacationing and all that. So best day of July isn't always, a big day, but it's not really saying much usually. But 14 sales yesterday. It was the biggest day for units sold for us this month and the biggest day for dollars sold. So that's good news. Portrait mode. Yeah, we're changing it up. I'm not on Facebook this morning because I'm having trouble with that account. So I figured I would try the portrait mode. I hadn't done it in quite some time. So welcome in. And I'm going to need y'all to be louder and more talkative today because we won't have our Facebook crowd today. We'll just have our YouTube and Instagram crowd. So I'm going to need y'all to carry the conversation today. Let me know, what are we going to ship first? I got eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari. All you have to do is type eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari down below. You're the boss for one moment. Just pop that in the chat. Let me know what you want me to start with first. We'll ship all the orders. Looks like we got 4 orders on Poshmark going out, 5 total units. One of those is a bundle. And we got 2 orders going out on Mercari, and the rest are all on eBay. So let me know, what are we shipping first? Chemo is in the house. What's up, Chemo? Good morning, Frenchie. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you last night, too. IG is where the fun kids hang out. That's right. I would agree with that. But I like all my children all the same. So welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. What am I going to ship first? eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari? You just got to type it down below in the chat, and we'll get ripping and roaring. Thrift Chico, welcome in. Frenchie says Etsy. Get out of town with that Etsy stuff. If you sell on Etsy, that's awesome. I just don't. Thrift Chica says eBay. We'll rip with some eBay, then we'll do some Poshmark, and we'll do some Instagram. I like it. I'm going to drop in the chat too, before I forget, a link to all the recommended reseller supplies that we use in our business. So all the stuff that I'm about to use to pack and ship all these orders, I'm going to give you a link directly to that. That's not it. So if you're looking to stock up on supplies or not sure what to use for shipping, I did all that work for you. This is actually the sheet that I use to reorder what I need. So just drop that down below in the chat. If you're on Instagram, you'll just have to tap on my name, and on my profile, you'll find a link to go directly to chris@peak.com, and you'll find that recommended reseller tools and supplies. Good morning, Galaxy. What's up, Galaxy Knight? Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well. Happy. I like Mondays because I get to hang out with you. Had to flip over to YouTube. Well, welcome to YouTube. How's it looking on YouTube? I got all kinds of comments coming in. Who's in the house? Footballogy. What's up? Happy Monday. Slow weekend for me. Jeans were the hot seller last week, which is surprising. I sold a I don't know how many units of jeans I sold last week, but enough for me to say wow, that's kind of an unusual amount of jeans for the middle of July. So we're in the same boat there. But I had a good weekend. But I've had I've had a slow month, but I'll take the good weekend. And actually, really, yesterday was the big day. All right, so we're going to do eBay first. Let me get these shipping labels printed out. Somewhere around 17-ish orders on eBay, 16 orders. We got 1 bundle, which is good. A bundle on eBay and 1 bundle on Poshmark. So that's pretty cool. Looks good on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Dogs Boutique. All right, let's see here. Our first order is going to be going out to Sag Harbor, New York, to John. We'll get these all ready to go. That's great. Yeah, it was a good weekend. you know, I think if you go back to May, I was averaging, I want to say like 14 sales a day. So when you have your best day of the month so far, when we're through 13 days here, and it was just tied like your average for the spring, but that's the seasonality of this business, right? It goes ups and downs, and sorry here, ups and downs, and the downs are typically the summertime. I tend to be slower in the summer, and definitely slower in June, and definitely even slower than that in July. Let me look at my monthly stats here just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So in May, I was averaging, 11.7 units a day. In April, I was averaging 13 units a day. So, and then in June, I dropped down to 8.7, and right now I'm sitting at 7.2. So just over half of what I was selling in April, I'm selling now. Basically, I'm like down 40% from April, and I'm down about maybe 30% from June, so a little more than 30, so probably 35% from May. Sorry, I'm down like 10% from June. I'm not good enough going through mental health. Well, I hope you take care of yourself. I know that's not easy, and I appreciate you being honest about what's going on in your world. This is my best weekend of the month. Nice, Frenchie. I like to hear that. My sales are slow, but I think is my items. Gotcha. How many listings do you have? I have, I'll give you an exact count here in a second. I think it's 1550-ish eBay listing. 1550 for a total of 1,744 units because I have some multi-quantity listings on there too. So there you go. Welcome in. Good to have you. All right, let's kick it off with an order for John. I tell you I sell a lot of Joseph A. Banks. I shouldn't say a lot, but a fair amount of Joseph A. Banks. If you learn about Joseph A. Bank, the brand, what to pick and what to pass, you can make some money with this brand. But you can also get trapped by a lot of items that won't sell well. This one here is 100% merino wool. It's a sweater, and it's actually a cardigan sweater, which I think is pretty cool. I used in the item title, by the way, I used the keyword grandpa for this sweater, but I also used, the normal stuff, cardigan, 100% merino wool, and all that stuff. So this sold on a Nifty best offer, $25.49 on this one going out the door. Love that. So this was the first order of the weekend. Not really the weekend, but I shipped Saturday morning. So since this was probably ordered somewhere around Saturday around noontime after I finished my shipping. So we're looking at the last 2 days worth of sales. This is going out to John. John, thanks for your order. Getting a little merino wool cardigan sweater, $25.49 plus the buyer paid $8.95 shipping on this sweater. Shipping label's only costing me $5.51 on this, so I actually made a few extra bucks, $3 extra on the shipping label there. So I paid $5 for this at the thrift store. So after shipping and fees, I'm gonna make, let's see, 16. I'm gonna make $18 on this merino wool sweater from Joseph A. Banks. And let's take a look at how long this took to sell here. Welcome in. I'd love to hear about your sales too. Let me know how the weekend went. To get some good stuff going out the door. I love to hear about those like fast sales or those big sales, just whatever you want to talk about. I want to talk about it too. Joseph A. Banks. This took 33 days to sell. Paid $5, sold for $25 and change plus shipping out the door. Nice little profit item. Pretty speedy one too. What's up, Jay Kotz? Good morning from Colorado. Where in Colorado are you at? Kim and I lived in Denver for a few years there. 2018 through 2020, we were in Denver, in Lohi, if you know that neighborhood. Next up is a Lululemon. This is a tank top. It didn't have the size tag. You can see as often on Lululemon, the size tag was removed. I just measured it, and I looked for ones that were the same tank top on eBay, and I looked for ones that actually did have the hang tag, and then I compared my measurements to theirs, and figured out that this was an extra large. So this sold for $22.94. This is on a Nifty best offer as well. So first 2 sales of the weekend, both courtesy of my cross-lister Nifty, which also has automation tools. So what I'm talking about is Aaron on eBay watched this item because they were interested in it, but they didn't purchase it. And then Nifty sent an offer 10 minutes later for 10% off. Aaron accepted that offer, done deal. So it's a great way to get extra sales. I get extra sales every single day from that feature right there. Of course, could I have manually sent that offer? Sure. But on an average day, it's selling. Nifty is sending something like 35 offers just on eBay. Never mind on Poshmark and Mercari too. So it just kind of automates work that I would have had to do myself. And the fact that it does it it's programmed to do it 10 minutes after they hit that like button, or that, in this case on eBay, the watch button. That makes it much more likely that I'm going to close that deal than if I had noticed that I have a watcher and then maybe 4 hours later I send that offer, because they could have bought something else by then, either on eBay, or they could have bought it on Poshmark, or they could have bought something on Amazon. They could have got a tank top. So I love that feature. In e-commerce, we call that an abandoned cart is the term that they use. And e-commerce, these companies spend a lot of money on tools to help them get back abandoned carts. They send you messages, they send you text messages, they send you emails, they send you pop-up notifications if you're shopping in an app and all that, because they know that you are interested in that item, but you didn't close the deal. So anyway, Nifty did that for me. I'm going to drop the link if you want to try Nifty. It is, with this link, you get a 7-day free trial. Nifty does cross-listing. It has automation tools. It also has AI listing, which I'm dropping a YouTube video about here on tomorrow. Actually, I'll drop that YouTube video that I recorded over the weekend about how to list on Nifty using Nifty's AI tools. It's pretty slick. I dropped that link right down there below in the chat. It's a free trial, 100% free trial. You don't, no strings attached. But if you go through the trial and you like it, you'll get 15% off your first month too. So all you got to do is click that link, and you can do that sign up. If you're over on Instagram, I can't drop links in the chat. I can, you just can't click on them. I'll drop it for you. But just click on my name, go to my profile, and you'll see the links, that Nifty link up at the top. My mom's in the house. What's up, Mom? The date in your live is July 7th on YouTube. Oh, I forgot to adjust the date. Thank you. I think we'll do okay. People will realize that they probably aren't Back to the Future, Maybe they are. Maybe they took their DeLorean. My mom's in the house. Say hi to Mom. Hello from Silicon Valley, first time watcher. Well, welcome in, Arlene. Do you resell? And if so, I'd love to hear kind of like, what do you resell? Where do you sell on? Let us know. Say hello down below. Thanks for popping in. Grandpa core cardigan is legit sweater category. I like it. What's with the whole thing like what that core? What does that all mean? I feel like I'm too old to understand that. What is, like, they have all these things. It's like something core, grandpa core. What is core? Why can't you just say grandpa? What's the core? What does that mean? Do you bulk print your shipping labels? If so, how do you double check that you sent the right item to the right customer? I just look on my bulk shipping screen. It shows me all the people. I would share my screen and show it to you, but I don't want to show you like people's names and stuff. But it shows me all the names, and I just compare the name and it shows me the item and all that stuff. So it's really easy to match up. It's the bulk. I'll show you. I'll send you the link for the bulk shipping tool. I think I can do that. eBay bulk ship. Yeah. I'll drop that right down below in the chat. Super easy. Good time saver too. Good question. I like it. Yeah, tell me about that core thing. I don't understand. Like, what is that? Why do people do it? Centennial, otherwise known as Littleton. Nice. I know that area. Centennial. I used to garage sale down in the Centennial area, like near Denver Tech Center and all that. There was a lot of money down in the Centennial. It was a good place if you could catch a good garage sale down there, you could catch some cool stuff. I know that area well. It's nice down there. Next up is order for Becky. This was a really fast sale. I'll tell you exactly how many days. It was just a couple days, I feel like. So this is a vintage Y2K Columbia fishing shirt. It took 4 days to sell. Let me know if this is an item that you would have just passed right by. I know a lot of people like aren't feeling Columbia. There's a lot of people who aren't fans of Columbia. There's that vintage tag on the Columbia, and look at this all over print. It's a whole bunch of like different fishing reel advertisements in boxes. Really cool piece right here. So I picked this up for $5. It took 4 days to sell on eBay, and this sold for full asking price, I believe. Full asking price, $22.99. So 5 into $22.99. After my fees and shipping and all that stuff, let me think. I'll make an extra $1.50 on shipping on this too. So buyer paid $6.95 shipping. So let me think here. That's going to be about $4 in fees. So 19 bucks. minus 14. Boy, all this math. I probably made like $15 to $16 on this shirt right here. And again, it only took 4 days to sell. Not everything's going to sell this fast, but especially not everything Columbia. But if you start learning what to look for, I sell a lot of Columbia, so you can watch this channel and figure out what sells in Columbia. But there you go, like really unique stuff. I sold just last week, I sold an all over fish print. Same tag, like an older Y2K Columbia tag, cotton, but it had all over like fishbone print, and that thing sold pretty quickly too. So it's not just like a one-off, like I got lucky on one. These sell for me. Yeah, core is style or aesthetic. Gotcha. So why would people say like core? Just put grandpa in there. It's just a keyword, right? Do people actually search for the word core in addition to that? I don't get society sometimes. I'm going to Google that. What is core? Core meaning. The tough central part of fruits. Central to existence or character. What does core slang mean? Core is internet slang used to refer to styles or trends. Originating from the hardcore punk scene, the term gained use to refer to niche internet aesthetics. The first such trend was normcore in 2013, a term coined by trend forecasting group K-Hole to refer to a style of plain clothing. So there you go. Normcore is a style of plain clothing, I guess. I did not know that. And that was the origins in 2013. See, I was too old in 2013 to be cool to pick up on this kind of stuff. So I asked, now I know. Because it's cool, dude. Hip. Yeah, get hip. I don't think I'm going to get hip. I'm 43. I think people who try to get hip at 43, you know what that comes off and looks like. Nick Smith is in the house. Good morning. Whoa, what just happened? There it is. 81 low, 102 today. That's too hot for peak. I hope you're having a great day. Maybe some pool time today. I hope, Nick Smith. Maybe some pool time. Have you already been in the pool? Not an average Columbia for sure. I sold an average Columbia today, by the way, too. Chemo. Because it's cool. Okay. Core is an aesthetic. Essentially, it functions like a label or a shorthand way to characterize a particular style or item. Thank you, Arlene. Arlene, did you tell me what you resell? Are you a clothing reseller too? I asked you. I may not have seen your response. But it sounds like you know your clothing. I like that Columbia. I pass on solids here. And GWR wants $9.99 for them. What's GWR? Wants $9.99 for them. Always pool time. Yes, already had a morning dip. Look at that. Who's living their best life over there? Who's living their best life? Nick Smith's living his best life. Nice. Next sale is a pair. You've seen me if you've been watching any of these lives over the past couple, like 6 weeks. 6 weeks ago, I listed a whole bunch of these brand new inbox Salomon hiking boots. They're Gore-Tex. The model here is X Ultra 4 Mid. X Ultra 4 Mid GTX. GTX standing for Gore-Tex. A women's hiking boot. These sold on a Nifty best offer, $85.50. So 3 out of my first 4 sales all came through those Nifty best offers. If you don't think that automation tool makes a difference in my business, I don't know what to tell you. I can't make this stuff up. The next sale is actually a Nifty best offer after this one too. It sold for $19.55. That's crazy. So 4 out of 5 sales. I mean, my weekend would look a lot different without that tool. I know sometimes it sounds like I'm pimping out Nifty and all that, but the reality is I'm shipping out these orders in. It's just me sort of expressing to the air, the world, whoever will listen that, man, that's like transformational for my business in the summertime when it's slow to have that many extra sales from that automation tool. It's pretty wild. Think about it. So these are going out. For some reason, these are going to the eBay's authenticity guarantee program. I have no idea why they're going to authenticate Salomons. Is anyone out there faking Salomon women's Gore-Tex hiking boots? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Kind of crazy, but for me, it really makes no difference. I just ship it to this address in, where is this address? Louisville, Kentucky. I've never seen the Louisville one. So Sometimes they go to Vegas, sometimes they go to New Jersey. This one's going to Louisville, so they must have another like authentication center there in Louisville. So anyway, they're going to authenticate this item, and then it's going to go to, then they're going to send it directly to Christine. The shipping on this is free for both me and the customer, I believe, and it's going to go FedEx. So I got to, the pain of this is I got to go drop this off at FedEx. I can't just leave this out front for pickup with USPS, but I also have to go to UPS today, so I'm going to be hitting up Walgreens and I'm going to be hitting up CVS today. Luckily, neither one of those is far. Goodwill Retail, gotcha. Y'all with your extra words today, just say Goodwill or GW. What's the, you know what I mean? Why do you got to say retail? Y'all with your extra words. You're trying to confuse me with your hip stuff. I've never heard anybody say it. I've been reselling for 7 years. I've never seen the abbreviation GWR, but you taught me something today, so thank you. I'm just giving you a hard time. Not really. I'm not even, if that's mean, I don't know. Direct. Joseph, got this Untuckit shirt right here. Little chambray style on this. This is a used. I paid $5. It sold for $19.55 on a Nifty best offer. On a Nifty best offer. 4 out of the first 5. $19.55. This is a type of shirt that you kind of really expect the sales to start upticking, like a long sleeve button down shirt. You'll see those start to pick up. Maybe a little bit in August, but definitely in September 1, especially September 15th, you start seeing this kind of stuff pick up. But $19.55 on the Untuckit. Going to Bessemer City, North Carolina, because they retail prices here. Got it. As opposed to the bins. Sure, I get that. But most people just say Goodwill or bins. Goodwill or bins, at least in my neck of the woods. That's the way I've ever heard it. If you say I got this up at Goodwill, then I think people are just, assuming that you went to, or you could say the racks if you want. You could say the racks, but I think when people say like they got something at the bins, you sort of understand that it was at the bins. If they say Goodwill, I don't know. You say whatever you want. The next order is for Patrick. This is a full price order. Polo Ralph Lauren. Blake, that Blake model is always a relaxed fit, and I'm always really direct about saying that these Blakes are relaxed fit, because I have gotten returns over the years because they're very relaxed fit. So this XL probably measures like a bigger 2XL. It's really, really relaxed fit. So down below in the item description, I'll also describe that I'm like, hey, this is a size XL, but Blake is relaxed fit, so this will measure more like a 2XL. I'm like very clear about that with people because I have gotten returns over the years. So if you find the Blake or the Blair model, and it says it right below the tag there, it's probably a pretty oversized or probably pretty relaxed fit. So I'm pretty clear about that. I hate getting the returns from someone who's like, it's too big, or it's way too big, So I always denotate that like relaxed fit in big letters, and then in the description let them know it measures like 2XL. So this sold for full asking price $19.99. Nice Glen plaid pattern on that, by the way. This is going to Patrick in El Segundo, California. El Segundo. Horrible storms here in Florida and still hot. Yeah. Oh man, that time of year. You may or may not know that Kim and I lived in Newport Richey, Florida for just over 2 years. So we're very familiar with the less than ideal summertime weather in Florida. And when I say less than ideal summertime weather, I mean basically like May 1st through November 15th, sometimes November 30th. Not a big fan of the heat. I melt in the heat. I'm not built for that. So this one's out the door. Kim was gone for the weekend. She just got back last night. She left Thursday and was out in Wilmington, North Carolina at the beach. She had her 30th high school reunion. So she was staying with they got an Airbnb, her and a couple of her friends out there, and they just had some beach time. And obviously went to the reunion Saturday evening and went out to eat, and they went by like their old high school, which was kind of like a cool thing. Like, man, I haven't been my old high school in a long time. And she had a good time. They, her talking with a lot of friends and reminiscing and stuff. Pretty cool. pretty cool stuff. That's the first time she had been to any of the reunions. She went to the 30-year. That was the first one. So welcome in, everyone. If you're just jumping in, we're shipping eBay orders. We also have Poshmark orders and Mercari orders. We'll ship all those out live. I'll give you as much possible information as I can about how much I paid for these items, how much they sold for, and about how much my profit is after shipping fees and all that stuff. The whole intention of these lives is just to share with you some information about good, honest glimpse into what's happening in our business on a Monday morning. We have a lot of orders on Monday morning typically because there's no shipping on Sunday. So I shipped Saturday around this time Saturday, and then so we're looking at 48 hours of sales. So we get a whole bunch of sales. That's why I do it on Monday. So you get to see a whole bunch of different things. Basically 2 days worth of sales. So if you have any questions, let me know down below in the chat. Happy to get back to those. And remember, all of these are available as a replay on YouTube and Facebook. This one won't be available on Facebook, but it will be available as a replay on YouTube. So you can, if you're just popping in now, you want to see the items that I've already shipped, or you want to fast forward through boring parts and all that stuff, you can go ahead and do that as soon as this live is over. You can rewatch it on YouTube, and that is true for all of these lives. You can watch them on YouTube. I have them from every Monday, going back for as far as I can remember at this point. So you can rewatch those. Next up is an order for Gillian. And if you are watching on the replay, I'll answer all your questions and respond to comments and stuff like that too. But if you're watching the replay, let me know you're watching by writing the word ship, SHIP, down below in the chat, so I know that you are watching. It's always good to hear from people who are live, but also the folks who are watching the replays too. We actually have more people that tend to watch the replays than do the lives, which is kind of interesting. It's a live format sort of thing, but there's actually more views on the replay. So got a pair of Harley jeans. These are women's. These sold pretty quickly too. High-rise boot cut. Boot cut being the key here with just about any jeans, men's, women's, whatever. If you can get some boot cuts, they tend to be a faster seller now because they're in fashion. How long do these take to sell? 13 days to sell. So just under 2 weeks. Pair of Harley jeans. I picked them up for $5 at a thrift store. They sold for $23.99, full asking price. Full asking. So after fees, I'm going to make $17 on these. Buyer paid $8.95 shipping. The shipping label's only costing me $6.45, so I'll make a couple extra bucks on the shipping. So like 17, 18 bucks. Pretty good, especially for a 13-day flip. They don't all go that fast, but it's nice when they do. Excitedly waiting for my thermal printer from Amazon Prime Days. Nice swimmer. What did you get? Which one did you get? Oh, that's awesome. Makari. Hey, Amy, how are you? Good morning to you, or I guess good afternoon. It's now 12:02, just past high noon here Eastern time. If I missed any comments, just drop it again. I didn't mean to ignore you. Slants. Thoughts on the brand Linksole. Linksole is a golf brand that's gone. It used to be pretty hot as of a couple of years ago, but it's really lost a lot of its resale value and sell-through rate. People have just moved on to like the next hot brand in golf, right? So right now, like Rowback, you can drop some of the other hot brands. Sorry if you popped in and popped out. I missed that comment, but Linksole, I used to pick it up. Now I don't know. I'll pick it up from time to time if the price is right and it's like a good pattern, good size, and all that stuff. But Linksole, it's just, this happens in golf, like happens in a lot of brands, but I feel like it's happening in golf really fast. Like golf apparel gets really hot and then gets really cool really fast. It doesn't take much time, and people are moving on to like the next cool hip golf brand. So I don't really pick up a ton of Linksole anymore, but if you asked me that a year ago, I'd say, yeah, I pick up a lot of Linksole, but not all of it. And then if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I pick up all Linksole. It all sells. So you just gotta, that's the normal like ebbs and flows. It's because other brands have sort of replaced Linksole as far as being cool. Here's a good sale here. It's a little bundle sale. I don't get a lot of bundle sales on eBay, but every now and again, somebody comes in and buys a couple of things. So the beauty, especially like newer tags, like retail stuff, this stuff will tend to, I'll get more bundles on. So I got 2 brand new tags G4 shirts. They're both the same size. They're just different colors, basically. I mean, different models, but different colors. So this one's called the Fine Line Banded Sleeve, if you care. And this one's called the Modern Tech PK Golf Polo. Anyway, buyer came in, bought 2 of these. One of them was on a Nifty offer of $45.14. So that closed this deal. And then they came in and they offered me $45 because they figured, well, shoot, he sold me the other one for 45.14. Maybe he'll sell me another one for 45. And I did. So I accepted both. So altogether on this, it's a $90.14 sale. And since my shipping label is only going to cost $6.49, but they paid $6.95 shipping times 2. So they ended up paying, what's that, $13.90 in shipping. So I'm going to make an extra $7 on the shipping label on this. So that helps me out on my profits right there. So this is going out to Hillary. Thank you, Hillary. That's the benefit of having a lot of like retail arbitrage, brand new stuff. When you get like I got a whole bunch of G4 last summer on clearance, a whole bunch of it. And I have all these different, models and different colors. So people will come in and they'll buy 2 or 3 of those. That doesn't happen as much with used stuff for me. It does happen from time to time. I actually have a bundle on Poshmark of 2 used items, or actually one's used, one's new, but you catch my drift. It's more frequent when it happens, when you have a lot of new tag stuff. That's just one advantage of playing the retail arbitrage game, which I play some too. I went for the Rollo wireless. Nice. How much was the price on the Rollo wireless? Doing good. Just doing some shipping. I love that. I love that, Amy. Getting some work done, hanging out. That's what this is all about. All right. Hope you had some good sales for the weekend, Amy. Next up is for Denise. Denise got a Patagonia. This one is you'll see, I don't know if you've seen this model before. See how it's kind of crinkly, almost like a seersucker? It's like a super, super lightweight, like ultra lightweight shirt. You can see the tag here. Patagonia. Not a newer model, not vintage either. Maybe like a 10-year-old sort of model. But this one had a small stain on it, so I listed it anyway. And it sold, this was a Nifty offer, $14.53 this sold for. So I got it home. I paid $5 for it. Noticed the stain when I was taking photos. Bummer. List it for below market value, and then have like cross-listing tools and automation tools that help me get rid of this stuff. So $14.53. I paid $5. After fees, that's going to leave me with about $280, $250, $12. I mean, I probably made $7. I'll make another $2 on the shipping label. So I made $9 on this, even with the flaw. So that ain't bad. That ain't bad. I don't think this took long to sell. I feel like I just listed this not so long ago. Let's see what happened with that one. I have a couple Patagonia sales going out the door actually today. That one, I lied. That one I picked that up in February. And so it took 5 months to sell, right? March, April, May, June, July. It took 5 months to sell. I thought that was quick. Maybe I found another one that was similar to that. Time just happens really fast. Time happens really fast sometimes. How do you handle your inventory storage? Has it taken over your house? So we have a 1-car garage that we do not park the car in. We use that sort of as our warehouse space. So I have a whole bunch of shelving out there and a whole bunch of clear bins. I'll give you an example of one. This is the one that I use for shipping, but it's a whole bunch of these 66-quart bins. They're clear, so I can see through them. Makes it really easy to go out and pull inventory. So I have like 70 something of those bins on a whole bunch of racks out in the garage, and that's how I stay organized. Each one of those bins has a SKU number on the front of it, and I put that number in the eBay SKU number. It also, when I cross list items from eBay with Nifty onto Poshmark and Mercari, it carries that SKU over to Poshmark too. Mercari doesn't have a SKU field for some reason because reasons I'm not sure. Business expense, that's right. You paid $220 for a thermal label printer, Swimmer. You do what you want. You paid $220 because of the brand name Arola. You could find that same printer from. I have one that's linked in. I have one that's linked in my reseller tools spreadsheet. That's probably, I think the last I checked was $92. I've had this label printer for let's see, I got this in 2021. So I've had this for 4 years. I've put over 10,000 labels through the thing. It's a workhorse, right? I've also had the Rollo printer, by the way, too. I have, where do I have the Rollo printer? I took that down to my parents' house when I go down to Florida and I source. I have a thermal printer down there. It's the Rollo, but I got that Rollo before all these other brands came out and undercut them on price. 220. I could buy two of the printers that I have and have a backup, and it would cost, for $90 a piece, $180, and I'd still be $40 cheaper than what you paid for that on sale. You're paying for the brand on the Rollos. You do what you want. There's nothing wrong with that printer, but to me, you're paying for like brand and marketing and all that stuff. You just got yourself a $90 printer and you paid $220 for it. And there's other brands out there that are like $70, $80, $110. Like you can look around. They're all good. They're probably all made in the same plant in China. Do you know what I mean? So you do what you want, but man, I could buy two printers and still have an extra $40 in my pocket to go get dinner tonight. And I'd rather have two printers than one. The Rollo ain't better. Believe me, I own a Rollo. It's the same thing. It literally does the same thing. Actually, I was going to say it prints at the same speed, but it actually prints slower. But who cares about how fast it prints? It's silly. They're identical products, basically. But you do what you want. I'm not insulting you. I'm not tearing you down. But for people who are shopping for printers, I wouldn't pay for the brand name. I'm just telling you, I've had this IDPRT printer I've had for 4 years, and put tons of labels through it. It's not like it's going to break down because it's not the name brand. It is quality stuff. Next up is Judy Blue shorts. Thanks for hearing me out. Sometimes I rant. Judy Blue shorts. Did a creator sell you on the Rollo? Judy Blue shorts, $22.99. I picked up two of these. They were both size 1XL women's. And let's see how long this one took to sell. The other one sold immediately. Like I think it took 24 hours to sell. This one took 11 days to sell. So two pairs of them. They're both gone in 11 days. One was like a little bit of a lighter color. I had a whole bunch of offers. People were giving me like $15 offers for this. I was like, And I was countering at $19.99 with everybody. Nobody took the $19.99. But this person came in and paid full price for it, $22.99. So both of those out the door, paid $5 a piece. They both sold for, I think the other ones did sell for $19.99 and this one sold for $22.99. So I paid $10 total and I got $43 worth of sales out of these two pairs, and both are gone in 11 days. Can't beat that. I love that. I don't pick up a ton of women's clothing. I find women's clothing at the thrift store when they put it in the men's section on accident. I also find it when they roll out the fresh racks. I look through the fresh racks, whether it's men's, women's. I'll even look through kids if it's on the fresh racks, right? Because there's a higher likelihood that it's like good quality stuff if nobody's gone through it yet. So I found these both off the fresh rack back to back before they even got stocked. So on those fresh rollers that come out. Footballogy says, I got a $50 thermal printer and it's been good over 3 years. I mean, yeah, you could buy 4 $50 printers. So even if it breaks in a few years, you could have 3 backups in your closet and you'd be good. But it's not going to break because it's probably made in the same manufacturing center or whatever. I'm not picking on you, Swimmer One. You know that I'm coming from a place of wanting to help you out. What's up? Cohen is in the house. How are you, Cohen? What's good down there in Florida? What are you up to? You enjoying summertime? If I were you, Cohen, I'd be in the pool right now. I'm just saying. This order is going to Kenya. Thank you for the Judy Blues purchase. Next up is a FootJoy. I love getting these shorts sold before the summer's over because people are going to stop buying shorts here really quickly. A pair of FootJoy golf shorts. These sold on a human best offer of $16.99. I went back and forth with this customer. I think I had them listed for $20. Sold them for $16.99. On a best offer. These are going to Santa Rosa, California. To Ken. Thank you, Ken. I skipped an order, so I want to get out of order and get all out of whack here. Ken. Enjoying life. I like that, Cohen. My man Cohen is in the house. The one, the only, the Cohen from Trinity, Florida. I'd be in the pool. I was going to say poolside. It's too hot. I'd be in the pool right now. Have you tried Better Lister? What do you think? Arlene, I have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow. It's already recorded, edited, and it's just scheduled to drop tomorrow at 3 p.m. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. on YouTube. So Nifty has built in. So Nifty's a cross lister. It also has automation tools. So I've been using Nifty for the last 15 months for my business to cross list and for automations. You probably heard me talk about Nifty in today's live. But they recently also added AI listing tools. So Better Lister has an AI. Better Lister list AI directly to eBay, but it doesn't have any cross-listing tools built into it. It doesn't list directly to Mercari or to Poshmark or to Depop or anything else, and it doesn't have any automation tools. So it doesn't like delist and relist your stale items. It doesn't share your listings on Poshmark out of your closet, and it doesn't have auto offers that are sending out to customers constantly throughout the course of the day to help you get more sales. It just has an AI lister. That's it. So what my video tomorrow is me walking through. I've redone my whole like listing system built around using Nifty's AI cross listing tool. I started using it a little over 2 weeks ago, started tinkering with it and kind of figuring out like how I'm going to build it into my business. And now I got a nice rhythm and flow. I might update that rhythm and flow as I move forward and find some more efficiencies. But that video comes out tomorrow. It's 37 minutes. It's walking through the whole process. I list 3 items. I think a pair of pants, a blazer, and a shirt. And I show you exactly how I list those items using AI. And I'm honest about it. Like I talk about, is the Nifty automation tool perfect? No. But it's pretty darn good. And it's less expensive, by the way, than the tool, the Better Lister tool. I haven't tried Better Lister. I've watched some YouTube videos. I was watching one last night about people who did basically the same thing I did. They're like, all right, I'm going to list a whole bunch of items using Better Lister. Here's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they shared their impressions. And so I think I watched enough of that to be able to compare the two to understand how they both work. And the bottom line is, to me, it's not even a comparison because Better Lister doesn't do any cross listing and doesn't do any automation. All it has is AI listing, and that's it. And it's more expensive. So to me, why pay more to get less product? Get Nifty, right? And get all those things. Get cross listing, get automation, and get AI listing tools. I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat right here. If you're on Tej, I can see you. How are you, Tej? I can't see you, but I can see your name. Oh, sorry, I missed you say hello up above. I missed it. I apologize, Tej. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. All my best to you and your family. I know it's been an interesting year, and sending vibes your way. You deserve them. Even if you don't need them, you deserve them. But yeah, I dropped that link. It's a free trial for Nifty. You can try. You can check it out, and if you like it, it's you'll get 15% off your first month. I got the Rollo for the Wi-Fi, had the others that are Bluetooth only, and it was such a pain to print from the phone. For us, it's so much quicker to connect with Wi-Fi in the IT field. Gotcha. So there's not a Wi-Fi option that's cheaper than that? I've actually never printed a shipping label from a phone. So I run my business through a computer, and I have a dual screen kind of setup and all that stuff. So, but I get it. You make your decision. But gosh, I could buy two printers and still save money. But I'm not giving anybody a hard time. Maybe I am. Jay Cott says, I love Nifty. So do I. The bottom line is you make the right decisions about what's right for your business. Don't listen to me flap my gums. I know a little bit, but you probably know more than I do about things. Mavi. Took a pair of Mavi matte jeans. I accepted an offer of $20 on these. I actually thought the offer was $22, so I accepted it. I didn't realize I was accepting a $20. I just read it wrong, but that's fine. I sold them for $20. I paid $5 at a thrift store. I had them listed for like $25.99, so I felt like 22 was my bottom line, and I got a $22 offer, so I was like, I'll take that. But it ended up being a $20 offer because I guess I wasn't paying attention. I even went back and looked. I was so convinced that it was $22. I went back and looked at, in your messages, you can see the offer history. I was like, I swear that was $22. I swear it. And I went and looked and I was like, nope, it was 20. I just read it wrong. So human error. And yeah, just to be clear, sometimes tone gets lost. People are popping in, popping out. Y'all got to buy tools that are different than the tools that I have. That's cool. You're going to buy different packaging materials that are different than mine. And that's cool. And y'all are going to run your business different ways. You're going to run it on your phone instead of on a computer. And that's cool. You're going to store your items different ways. You're going to list on different platforms. All that stuff is freaking cool. That's the beauty of owning your own business, right? And super, super supportive of all of that. And my way is not the way. It is a way. And we all sort of build our businesses. Every business that I've ever worked for, by the way, is sort of like built on a series of like idiosyncrasies and like solutions for the time, like solutions for that day or solutions for that week, right? And you have to solve an issue that came up, and you end up purchasing a tool or building something into your system, right, to solve that problem. And then that becomes your process, or that becomes your tool. And like 5 years later, it's like your business changes a whole lot, but you still get these solutions from 5 years ago that maybe you would have done differently down the road, or whatever, or somebody else would have done differently. And it's cool. You all do your thing. I want you to hear that loud and clear. There's a lot of people out there that says it's my way or the highway. I do it better than anyone else. And that is not true. You just got to figure out what works for you at any given time. Here's another Patagonia cotton shirt. This is another lightweight one. I looked up the style number on this one. The style number is like on that materials tag. It's like right here. And Googled the style number. I just put in Patagonia and that number, and it came up with the Steersman shirt. So I put that in my item title. This one sold quick, and I think that contributed to that. Patagonia, where is it? Took 5 days to sell. And it's a really crowded market these days for Patagonia. And actually, I did a photo post the other day talking just about how the sell-through rate for Patagonia is not what it used to be, and the sale price is not what it used to be. There's just so much Patagonia out there. So to be competitive by looking up that style number and putting that style name, Steersman, in the item title, I think that helped me sell this shirt quicker. And it was a Nifty best offer too. It was a Nifty best offer, $20.70 on this Patagonia shirt right here. Man, I can't tell you how much Nifty does for my business. What is that? 5 Nifty best offers so far that have, offers that Nifty did for me, closing deals for me. I still have to do the heavy lifting, right? I had to find these items. I had to list these items, and now I got to ship them. But Nifty with the assist. Art, I appreciate you popping in and sharing some positive energy. Art says, Art found it. Sup, man, logged in just to share that I enjoy the content you post. Well, I appreciate you bringing some positive vibes. There's a lot of people who check in to tell me what they feel about me, and it always isn't the nicest thing. In lives, usually people are really nice. In fact, people are always really nice in the lives. But in videos, in the comment section, people check in with me, and they check in with a lot of nastiness and a lot of cattiness, and just a whole lot of leaving their junk from their bad day and their own frustrations with their world. And they leave those in the video comments and the post comments because they just are miserable human beings. But Art is an awesome person for coming in and just bringing some positive energy for no other reason except for, hey, I wanted to bring some positive energy. So thanks, Art. Appreciate you being here. Which printer do you recommend? I recommend the IDPRT. I have the SP410. If you don't remember all those weird numbers and letters, just go to chris@peak.com, and I have a whole list of all of the stuff. It's called Recommended Reseller Tools and Supplies. Just click on that, and you'll see a whole list of the things that I recommend for resellers, and that is on there. It was on sale for $90 as of like a day or two ago, that printer. But I don't know what the price is today. You could look it up, though. You can click on that link. Do you sell any replenishable items? We have our own coffee business, Arlene. So this is our medium roast. It's called the Hooper's Creek Medium Roast. So we have 3 different coffees. They're all behind me, a light roast, a medium roast, and a dark roast. You can check those out at chris@peak.com. I'll even give you the direct link right to our coffee. But this is our, quote unquote, replenishable. But it's probably not the exact question you were asking. You're probably asking if I sell like replenishables on Amazon, like, I don't know, teas or stuff like that. Or paper supplies, or I don't really do any of that kind of stuff, but we do have a replenishable. We have our coffee. It's fair trade, it's organic, it's roasted fresh right here in Black Mountain, North Carolina. So good organic fair trade coffee. I had one today, and look at me. I'm peppy, I'm energetic, I'm mostly pretty nice, I'm a little bit sarcastic, and that's all thanks to our delicious coffee, right? Most of that is. If you have any questions about our coffee business, happy to do so. You can check out the coffee at that link and read about it, see where it's from and all that stuff. I'm glad that you brought up the coffee. I'm going to drop a discount code right now in the chat. I want to make sure it's active first. I think I made it active. So I'm running a sale starting tomorrow because we're dropping our summer light roast is dropping this week. Let me just make sure that I got the, I want to make sure I got the code. I don't want to steer you wrong. Products. I think I made the discount code active. I did. So you can get 10% off now of any of our coffees. So you just got to put in at checkout this discount code summer10. You can get 10% off anything on our website, including our merch too, but 10% off all our coffees. You can get, if you want. That's kind of a cool announcement. I didn't even think about telling you all about that today, but since we're talking about coffee, you can get yourself one of these Thrifting is My Cardio shopping bags to fill it up. I think 33 items I've filled this up with, like a mix of like jeans, sweatshirts, jackets, shirts, and all that, like 33 thrifted items. You can also dual wheels and maybe get 60 items in these. So that you can get 10% off those bags. That's linked on the website as well too. So all coffee and merch is 10% off, and that's only that deal ends Thursday at midnight. So get in on it. If you're on my email list, you'll learn about that deal tomorrow. You'll get an email about it, but you're getting a little sneak peek if you want to. The sale starts tomorrow technically, but I already made the coupon, the discount code live. So if you want to check out that our coffee, if you have any questions about coffee, let me know. Nice bag. Thank you, Arlene. What did you think about the shopping bag though? How did you start in eBay? Were you coffee first? eBay first. I started eBay 7 years ago. Almost to the day was my first like thrift trip to buy stuff to resell online. And that was 2018, 7 years ago, 2018. And then we launched coffee just over 2 years ago. And if anybody's like, okay, this is what I drink right now, you can drop exactly what you drink right now in the chat, and I'll tell you which of our coffees would be your best bet. Next up is another eBay. And if you order during this live, by the way, we ship it out during the live with a big dose of gratitude and thank yous and all that. So I feel like that's always fun, right? For me, it's fun because I get to ship to people that I'm like talking to, which is pretty neat. Most stuff that I sell online is to people that nameless, faceless people like Hayden here, who came in and bought this. What did Hayden buy? This polo shirt. And I don't know Hayden from, I don't know who they are, but it's cool. I appreciate their business. But to me, shipping live like coffee to people like y'all, it makes it feel a little bit more like the businesses that I grew up in. I grew up in the restaurant business, working for a Greek family at a place that sold pizza and roast beef in New Hampshire, like sub sandwiches at pizza. And, you had all these regular customers, people that you talk to, they come in, you make small talk with them. They come in, every day for lunch or a couple days a week for lunch. You get to know their families and stuff. They come in for dinner. And that feels a lot more natural to me than like an eBay business. Believe me, I love my eBay business, but, and in some cases, I'm happy that I don't have to talk to all these customers, but I do miss, that like kind of talk to somebody part of the restaurant business. And I ran restaurants professionally for 10 years too. I've worked in restaurants for a total of, I forget how many total years in restaurants, but that was my introduction to, to business. And it's still kind of built into me like that. So anyway, if you want to buy some coffee, I'd love to ship it to you. I think you'll really enjoy it. The difference with like fresh coffee is kind of like when you go to a farmer's market and you get fresh vegetables, and the fresh vegetables they just taste better, right? And that's the same is true with like fresh coffee. Most coffee that you find at the grocery store, like 90+% of it was roasted more than 90 days ago, and we get our coffee roasted fresh every single week. So the difference in flavor and aroma is just is wild. In fact, if you're used to buying like store-bought coffee, like grocery store coffee, you'll probably actually use a little bit less of our coffee. I encourage people to kind of like, try it with like 10% less coffee than you would typically put into your morning coffee, because it being so fresh, it still has so much more flavor in it than the stuff at the grocery store. It's just a crazy difference. When we have like coffee out and about at places that don't have good coffee, like regular old restaurants or whatever, we're always disappointed with that coffee. It's just so much different. Men's size 2XL Columbia. I do pick up a lot of Columbia like January, February, March, April, because this stuff sells pretty well for me in the summertime. This was on a sale over the weekend, and it had a nifty 10% off offer. So I think this was priced at $18.99. I had a 15% off sale, which knocked the price down. And then Nifty sent out a 10% best offer to somebody who clicked the watch button on this, Willie. So Willie got this for $13.70. I'm fine with that. We're kind of getting to the end of the summer season. I do like to move this mediocre summer stuff and get it out, get it out and get it gone. My profit won't be huge on this, right? Buyer paid $13.77 plus $6.95 shipping. So I paid $5 for this, and it will. So my profit off this is going to be, what am I like, $2, $11.77, man. 7. I think I'm going to make $7 off this because I'll make a few dollars off the shipping too. $7. So not great. No, maybe $8. Maybe $8. Not great, but I've had plenty of Columbias that have sold over the summer where I made more than that. But you got to, just like the stores do, I like to liquidate some stuff and move off of seasonal items. If this doesn't sell now in like the next month, I might have this till next March until people start buying short sleeve stuff again. So my decision, I'm happy with getting this out the door for $13.77. It had its chances to sell. It hadn't yet, and now it has. I can move on for it. I can open up some space in my inventory for some items that can make me money in the fall. I see a lot of Columbia too. I sell a lot of Columbia. I can tell you how many Columbia pieces I've sold this year, and I'll let y'all guess. I actually did not think it was that many items. I'll let y'all guess down below in the chat. In 2025, how many Columbia branded items do you think that I've sold? I actually didn't think it was going to be that much, but it's it's a good number. And I sold 2 this weekend. So coffee is official, like a referee whistle. Oh, my man Chemo, appreciate you, bud. Appreciate you, bud. I'm not saying go run out and buy all the Columbia that you see. It's always, you got to look beyond the brand. You got to find items within a brand that sell better or worse, and you got to learn those little intricate details. That's a cotton shirt, by the way. I don't buy a lot of the cotton ones, but it had a nice plaid pattern and it was a size 2XL. That's why I picked that one up. But I don't buy a lot of cotton ones, but I made an exception on that one because it's the summertime. I won't buy that now because I know it won't sell till May probably, but I'll buy those in January, February, and March when everybody at the thrift store is just ignoring short sleeve shirts, and I'll scoop those ones up for cheap and then sell them over the summertime and make some money. But I sold a lot. Oh my gosh, Ray, are you looking at my dashboard? Wait, I'm going to double check. Yeah, you're Ray. I've sold 84 Columbia this year, 2025. You said 87. That's the first guess that came in. That's crazy. I had to I'm like, did he get it right on the number? That's incredible. I'm actually really impressed. Look at that. 87 was the guess. I sold 84 so far. I was seeing Columbia PFG pant. So I like the PFG pants, especially the zip off pants sell really well for me. But again, that's going to be a seasonal item. Those will cool off as we get later into the summer and people start shifting their buying habits towards fall items. Although pants are still fall items, but those convertible zip off pants, people are typically buying those for kind of summer adventure kind of stuff. So I've done really well with those this summer. The convertibles I sell in the low to mid 20s, and they do good for me. Men's and women's, by the way, men's and women's. But remember, when I say that I sell these mediocre things, you got to remember too that I do all the things. I take very professional photos. I very particular with keywords that I put it, into my item title. I measure all my clothing items. I put measurements in the descriptions for them all. I promote on eBay at 5%. I cross-list my items to Poshmark and Mercari, and I have automation tools that are my Nifty automation tools are delisting and relisting stale items. They're sending out offers every single day to people who are watching and liking items, and it's sharing items on Poshmark 6,000 times a day. So to sell those mediocre items, you can't just, have pretty good photos and a pretty good listing item title and a listing description and not be cross-listing and all of that stuff. You're not going to have the same results as me. So if you're going to copy the inventory I pick up, some of that mediocre Columbia stuff, I would suggest also copying all the other things because I wouldn't get the same results. I wouldn't be able to pick up Columbia if I wasn't taking excellent photos, if I wasn't promoting, if I wasn't cross-listing, and I didn't have automation tools. That's just the reality of the thing. So you can't copy half the game and expect full results. If you want full results, you got to copy the full game, if that makes sense, or similar. I'm not saying you have to use Nifty or whatever, but I think it's the best cross-listing tool. So there's that. But you can't get the same results as me without doing all of the things. All right. And that's not to say that I'm like better than anybody else, but the reality is I just put more work and have more tools working for me to get the results. Because to sell mediocre items, like low sell-through rate items, you got to work. You got to beat people. Next up is Poshmark. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 items going out the door on or 5 items, 4 sales. One of them is a bundle of 2 items. We'll start right off with a bundle. Let's do a bundle. So 2 polo shirts, kind of an interesting bundle. Poshmark does bundling better. I want to make sure I grab for some reason I'm questioning whether I grabbed the right item here. Let me see. I did grab the right item. Sweet. So brand new with tags, polo Ralph Lauren. This is kind of like an interesting quarter zip. It's not that estate rib. This one is like a viscose blend. So like a synthetic blend. It's cotton and viscose. So kind of a different piece. It's on a modern polo Ralph Lauren tag, brand new. This sold in a bundle, and another polo Ralph Lauren. This one's used, 100% linen, nice long sleeve, button down linen shirt. Good seller in the summertime. So together, these sold on a bundle, $75 on a best offer. We went back and forth and settled on $75. So basically, I got, I don't know, $49 for this and $25 for this is the way I can break that down. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in a little box. I'll throw this in a box. Why not? It's not going to fit well in my padded flat rate envelope, so I'll put it in a box. These boxes are free from USPS.com. This is the shoe box, if you care. I could throw this in one of my poly bags. Those cost me 6 cents a piece. This box cost me 0 cents a piece, so why not just throw it in there? And although probably I'm spending more than 6 cents of my time modifying this box, but whatever, I'm hanging out with y'all. Gotta change the blade on this knife. So this order is going out to Jiang, I think is the name. Jiang. Thank you, Jiang. Nice. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. Makes my shipping a little bit more fun. We're without our Facebook friends today. I'm having trouble logging into my Facebook account. So we're just hanging out with the YouTube, Instagram folks, which is cool with me. But I do miss my Facebook folks too. We do this live every Monday morning. Typically we start around 11:30 a.m. whenever I get done pulling all the orders and stuff. Just a good, honest glimpse into what's happening in my business. I like doing it on Mondays because we got 2 days worth of sales. I don't ship on Sunday, so just gives you looks at more items. Today we got eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari going out the door. Next up, this is a bad pickup probably. I don't remember what I paid for it. Brand new with tags. I bought this retail arbitrage. You can see it's a William Murray. William Murray's another golf brand that it was hot 2 years ago. Was kind of hot last year, but not really. And now this year it's kind of really cooled off. So this is it's actually a cool piece. It's like one of those, it's a polo dress, it's like a polo shirt dress, women's. And it's got an all over print right there. And this sold for $40. But I picked it up clearance, retail clearance last year around this time. I've sold a couple of them. I ordered them online. I sold a couple, and I think I still have another one left after this. This sold for $40. I think I paid like $20 for it. So, with a lot of these golf brands, the women's stuff doesn't tend to sell as well as the men's stuff. I'm sure there's examples to the contrary, right? But that tends to be the case. Like William Murray men's has got to sell generally better than William Murray women's. Same with G4. When I pick up G4 stuff, the men's stuff just sells better. That's been my experience. Tends to be true with like a lot of the like more outdoors brands, especially once they're not hot anymore. Once they cool off and become kind of mediocre sellers, the women's stuff can like really crash out. So William Murray's not a brand I pick a ton of stuff up from anymore unless I get it really cheap. Like we talked about earlier in this live, these golf brands, they get really hot and then they get cool. They cool off because another really hot brand comes and replaces it. That's just seems to be what happens a lot in that market. Speaking of, here's another brand that used to be really hot that's really cooled off as well. Bad Birdie. 2 years ago, this was super, super hot, scorching hot. Last year, it sold pretty well, and then this year, it's just, other things have replaced it. I actually sold a ton of these last year, and as the year went on, I watched like the resale value and the sell-through rate kind of go down. It just, as the year went on, I just watched it happen. Like people became less interested in this brand. Anyway, I sold out of this particular shirt. I had maybe 50 of this exact same shirt, and I sold out, I thought. And then I found 3 of them last week out in one of my bins, and I was like, why do I still have 3 of these? I feel like I sold these out. And I checked my inventory online. I was like, yep, I don't have these listed anymore. So I just recreated the listing through Nifty and got it relisted with those 3 units, and one of them sold already. So $27 on this one. Bad Birdie, I used to sell these for like upper 30s, low 40s, and now $27. I'm happy with it. That's just what happens with this kind of stuff, especially this golf stuff. Ups and downs. Golf is like such a fashion game now. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of different than like outdoor fashion, which is really what I started this business with, like Patagonia, North Face, Cool, Mammut, that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't go up and down as quickly. Like Patagonia is still in. North Face is still in. I mean, the market's really crowded, but like people still wear all that stuff. It's really in. And it just persists for long periods of time. Sure, stuff goes up and down, but man, that golf fashion is like, it is like crazy. If you're just popping in now, remember, all these lives are available as a recording. As soon as I end this live, you can rewatch this on YouTube, and you can see all our weekly lives on YouTube. And I respond to those comments and questions and stuff too. It's a great way to see like all the stuff that I sell. If you want to like kind of take notes, kind of get some ideas for your own reselling business. What I used to do when I first started, I still do it from time to time, is I take screenshots of when, reseller or creators are like packing up an order, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know that brand, or I don't know that model. I need to remember that. I'll screenshot stuff. So that's how I first got started, was watching people on YouTube. Namely Ready, Set, Resell. Ben, he's a great creator, and Hustle at Home Mom. Those 2 folks, like I still have screenshots on my phone from years ago when I was watching their YouTubes, just kind of like learning brands and models and stuff to look for. So yeah. Next up on Poshmark, Under Armour golf polo. I picked up a bunch of these really cheap. I sold some of them on Amazon. Some of them I sold on eBay and Poshmark. This one's called the Under Armour Playoff Polo, and this one sold for $33. This was a Nifty best offer on Poshmark. So somebody came in on Poshmark, liked this item. 10 minutes later, Nifty came in and sent an automatic 10% off offer. This person accepted, and good deal. And this happened yesterday. Well, I was here doing some work in the office. Got the cha-ching. I love that when Nifty sells stuff for me when I ain't even paying attention. It's a beautiful thing. That Bad Birdie was actually a Nifty best offer too. I had that shirt listed for $30, and it sold for $27, exactly 10% off. And I wasn't even paying attention. I love that. This bin is full up. Okay. Next up, we got 2 Mercari orders. I forgot to make one of these thank you cards. These are the cards that I put in all my orders, by the way, if you're curious. It's got my website. It's got a QR code that takes you right to my website. And on the back, I just write a quick note thanking the person. So this is going to James. So I'm going to write, James, thank you, Chris. In business, they say it's not easy landing a customer for the first time, but it's easier to get them back for a second purchase. So for me, these cards cost about 3.5 cents a piece. I order them by the thousands from Vistaprint. I have like 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 13 more boxes of these stacked over there. And that's where I've been ordering business cards from Vistaprint since my first professional job back in 2000 and when was that? 2003, 2004. 2004 is the first time I used Nifty, or first time I used Vistaprint to print business cards. I've been using them ever since. I used Moo to order some cards once before too, but Vistaprint tends to have better prices. So we got 2 Mercari orders. The first one is a pair of Prana pants. This is called the Prana Brion. They sold on a best offer, a human offer, $24. I went back and forth with this customer. We settled on $24. This is going to James. These had a little flaw on them. Typically, these would sell for more like $30 to $35, or maybe like $27 to $35. But because they had like just a tiny little, I think it was like a little mark, like a little stain on them, I priced them down a little bit lower, willing to take a lower price on those. People are probably wearing these Prana pants to go hike or something. So they're not really super concerned with the flaw, but they like getting the better deal on the item with the flaw. So $24 on these. I paid $5 at a thrift store. Prana pants, still, I know Prana as a brand is very hit or miss when it comes to reselling. I don't pick up all Prana, but the men's pants do really well for me. Particularly the Prana Zion pants sell really well for me. And I actually really like the Prana Zion pants. I've owned a handful of those over the years. Nice pair of pants. I wish they were a little bit more durable. I feel like the Prana brand isn't as durable as some of those other brands in the space. But taking my 6 weekend orders to the post office. Thank you for the great content. Well, Kelsey, thanks for bringing in some positive energy. Thanks for the message earlier too, by the way. Or was that earlier or was that yesterday? Thanks for the message, the recent message. And I hope you have a great day. 6 orders is great. 6 orders is great. Last order of the day is a Lacoste. And 2 Mercari orders. These are my first 2 Mercari orders of the month. I went 12 days on Mercari without an order. On day 13 yesterday, I got a Mercari order. And then that next one came in this morning. How crazy is that? Like I didn't have any sales for 12 days, and now I got 1 sale back-to-back days on Mercari. Mercari's heating up. Sorry, that sale was both sales were yesterday. Sorry, I thought the Prana came in this morning. It came in last night. So 2 sales yesterday after 12 days of no sales on Mercari. Go figure. So this Lacoste shirt. This was actually a Nifty best offer too. So it's on Mercari. It will send those offers to people who like items on Mercari. So this sold for $17.09. So it sent them this offer, and then the person responded and said, "Is this still available?" Which I always think is funny on Mercari or any platform that's not Facebook Marketplace when they say, "Is this item still available?" It's like, yeah, it's listed, right? Like as soon as someone buys it, it comes down. That's how it works. But anyway, I sent them the offer $17.09, or Nifty sent them the offer $17.09. They responded. I said, "Is this available?" I said, "Yeah, yes, it's available." And then they said, "What's your lowest?" So then I just sent them that same offer again, that $17.09. Just hit the offer button, typed in $17.09, and they accepted that offer of $17.09. So there you have it. And that's what I do. I usually don't respond to like message requests. If I could just send them an offer, I'll do that instead of like getting into a conversation back and forth. I'm not here to make friends on Mercari. Chicane. Anyway, just a plain Lacoste. It's got the crocodile on the chest, or the gator on the chest. It is a crocodile, but people refer to it as a gator. And nothing fancy here. Men's size 2XL. The reason I let this go at $17.09 is it has this like tiny little hole from a thrift store tag that's like underneath the collar. So I just pointed that out in the item title in the description, and then I had a close-up photo with a pointer pointing right at that flaw. So sold for best offer anyway, $17.09. This is going to go USPS. So just got a notification from eBay, so we'll take a look at what happened there. Let's see what happened. Sweet. Don't you love when this happens? Check it out. So offer declined, your item sold. So what happened there, and they're both like right at the same time, basically. Somebody bought these new diesel Safados probably for full price. Oop, sorry about that. Timed out. Probably for full price because it might have been a Nifty best offer, but and then it declines the offer from the other person. So somebody was trying to get those pants for me for $70. So that's that. You can see that offer being declined. I love that when somebody's like trying to lowball you, and then somebody comes and buys the same item for full price. Boom, and then they get that notification. Sorry, item sold, pal. Should have actually spent the money. So let's see what it sold for. Yeah, full asking price. So these sold for, I don't want to show you the buyer's name, but I will show you the address, part of the address anyway. Diesel Safato 109.95 on that sale price. And you can see I left part of the address at the top. Oh, I shouldn't, it has a phone number. I shouldn't do that. But Doral, Florida. So this address is almost, yeah, this address is, it's going international. So this is going to a freight forwarder. And this happens with Doral addresses and Miami addresses in Florida. Doral is right near the Miami airport. The airport's kind of in like northwest Miami. And Doral is kind of like right above the airport. So a lot of addresses in Doral and in Miami are both going to be freight forwarders because it's right near the airport. So somebody bought this item, it's got to go overseas, probably in a big crate. Like this freight forwarder probably buys stuff from all sorts of different people for customers overseas, puts them in a big crate, ships it overseas. So a freight forwarder, I don't care. As long as they pay me money, it makes no difference to me. I know some people get scared. They're like, oh no, it's going to a freight forwarder. I don't have any issues with freight forwarders. I love them. They come in all the time. If you looked at it, like the cities that I ship to most often, and this is true every year, it's Miami, Florida, and Doral, Florida, like probably 1 and 2. It actually might be Doral first and Miami second. But we just got an offer, another live offer. Let's check out what we got here. So I got this pair of Peter Millar EB66 5-pocket pants. This is actually a really good model of the Peter Millars. They sell for typically for $40 to $45 is what I price these for. It's most Peter Millars will sell in like the $35 range, but these are more like 40 to 45. Anyway, EB66, look for those ones. So this one had a small flaw. I think it was just a small little, yeah, here's what the flaw is. It's got a little discoloration on the pocket, which is really common with golf pants because this person's probably right-handed, and that's probably like where they reach to get like their ball or whatever, right? So they got like probably grass stains like right there from putting their hand in their pocket over and over and over while they're golfing, right? So I noted that in the description. Like, as I said, $40 to $45 pants. I price these at the bottom of the market at $37.99 because of that little stain. Buyer comes in with a $21 offer, which is like half price, like half market price for these pants. I'm not going to accept half market price for these pants with like that little like stain right there, because this person's probably going to be super psyched by getting this pant for a better price, a higher price than that, for just that minor little flaw, because they're going to buy these pants and they're going to golf in them and they're going to get that same stain. So their person's not really going to care all that much. So I'm going to go ahead and do a counter offer on this, and I'll get pretty aggressive on this. I'll go down to like $29.99. So I'm going to take $8 off these pants and see if they come up to that. So we'll submit that offer right there. Boom. $29.99. I paid $5 for them, so I'm happy. If they sell for 30, it's still a great sale price, but I'm not going to let them go at 21. I think I can get that buyer a little bit higher on that minor flaw. What was I going to do? So those are my updates on eBay. I don't think I got any fresh offers on Poshmark, but we'll just double check real quick, see if I get any live reseller action for you. It's always fun, I think. Somebody declined my offer on Poshmark. That's not really exciting. Check this out. I got a $6 offer on a pair of on an Algo 01 Algo shirt. $6. I countered them full asking price. $6. So no new stuff going on there. I'll ship those diesel jeans tomorrow. I ship once a day. Once I'm done, I'm done. So that's that. I do have a UPS I got to take out of there and a FedEx that I put in there that I got to take out of this pile. There we go. Sometimes I forget to take my FedEx and UPS out of my USPS pile, so we'll drop those off a little bit later. Appreciate everybody hanging out a little bit today. Makes my day of shipping a lot more fun when I get to spend it with you, and hopefully you learn something new. Maybe. Hopefully you cracked half a smile. Maybe. I'll see you again next week around the same time, 11 or 11:30 a.m. on Monday. Keep your eye out for my YouTube video. It's going to drop tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to walk you through. It's like 39 minutes, and it's the full soup to nuts listing 3 items using Nifty's AI listing tool. And I just give a good, honest review of my experience with the tool, and I show you my process because I've changed my process to fit the AI listing. So now everything that I'm listing now, I'm listing using Nifty's AI tool, and I am finding it to be faster. It does have some little idiosyncrasies and flaws. It's not a perfect tool yet, but I think it's pretty darn good, enough so that I'm going to take every single item that I list, I'm going to list using that tool. That's how much I believe in the tool, but it's not perfect. So I want you to check out that video. If you're considering Nifty's AI cross-listing tool, I think you should watch that video first, and get an idea of like what you're getting into. And that's really what that video is all about. Like just a good, honest, like here's what you're going to get into if you get into Nifty AI listing tools. And here are some of the things that you might consider buying, and not really buying, so to speak, but like, I don't have like a link to this yardstick or anything. I'm not trying to make money off of you, but you'll see that how I do my measurements in the photos now, and I show that process too. And a couple of like tips and tricks along the way of like things that I've learned in my few weeks using that tool right now. But mostly I want you to be able to make a more informed decision about that product. And, is that something that you should consider? Is AI listing worth your time, energy, and investment? Or should you maybe keep doing it the way you're doing it, or doing it maybe a different way? So it's 39 minutes. It's just good. It's honest. Here's my experience with the tool. I'm not really selling it as much as I'm like, hey, I'm using it. I like it. But let's talk about what's, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hey, Julia, appreciate you popping in. Everyone, I'm signing off, but Julia, you're just popping in. If you want to see the 22 items that we shipped out today, you can feel free. As soon as I end this live, you can watch it as a replay on YouTube. So if you're interested, and if you do watch that, if you have questions and all that, I'll answer those questions. And you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can fast forward through the boring stuff when I ramble about who knows what. But I appreciate everybody popping in, whether you're just popping in now or you've been hanging out for a little while like Ray, or like Flipology. I think you were here at the beginning. You suffered through the whole thing. I appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you next week. And remember, look out for that YouTube video. It's going to drop tomorrow at 3 p.m. That's going to drop. And it's a good, honest glimpse into what it's like using that new Nifty AI lister tool. Hey, why portrait mode? So I'm having trouble with my Facebook account this morning. I can't log in. So I figured I would try portrait mode. I haven't done it in a while. I used to do portrait mode from time to time, but portrait mode's better for IG, and I think it's just as good for YouTube. I mean, you don't see as much, but I think it allows you to watch it like in the vertical mode. So tried something different. Curious what you think about it. Let me know, Yitz. If you're good, bad, thumbs up, thumbs down. I missed it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't worry, you can watch the whole thing. It's going to be on a replay in 30 seconds when I sign off. You can watch it from the beginning, and you can fast forward through the boring stuff and all that. But yes, let me know. You can I'm going to end this, but you can still drop a comment. Let me know what you feel about the portrait mode versus the widescreen. I probably won't do it all the time, but because I had a little flexibility today because we're not on Facebook. So I figured I'd try something out. Throw a curveball. Life threw a curveball at me, so I figured I'd throw a curveball back. So there you have it. Everybody have an awesome day. Have a great week. Hope you find some great stuff this week. Hope your sales kind of pick up. We are getting a little bit away from like that peak vacation season. There's still going to be a lot of people on vacation. They're still spending money on experiences and not things as much for the next few weeks. But man, those first couple of weeks of July are it as far as like vacationing. 4th of July week is the second most common vacation week of the year. Next to Christmas being number one. So we're out of the woods from that. I think like the depths Like we have hit the absolute bottom of summer slowdown. It doesn't get worse than what the last 2 weeks are. And it should start to gradually get a little bit better. It's not going to be a springboard better, but you should start seeing some things. You should start mixing in some better days in with your slow days and stuff like that too. So there is hope, but we have definitely, the worst of it was last week, like in the week before. We're now sort of like on the upswing, and really every week from here until December 18th should be a better week than the previous week in terms of like online shopping traffic should go up every single week, literally right until we get to December 18th, and then it'll slow way down again. So that's good news, right? We're on the building cycle. It's kind of like we're past like July. You know how it works with like you pass June 20th, or what is it, the 21st, the longest day of the year, and now the days are all getting shorter. Well, the opposite is happening with reselling, especially clothing reselling. And now every single week we should have more light or more sales and more traffic. Every week won't be better, right? But on average, right, you should see this slow uptick that will really start taking off once we get into September. So, but the worst of it is behind us. Everybody have an awesome week. Let's get some upticks. Let's get some positive growth. Peace.